Hello and welcome to our next video about the use of VSched++ for geodetic VLBI scheduling. In this video, I will briefly talk about the statistics tool and how you can use it to find out which schedule is the best one for you. So what I've done here, I've prepared a standard R1 scheduling where I used multi-scheduling to generate a total of 64 different schedules. I've used the same settings as done in the first exercise, so if you want to have a look on how to set things up, have a look at the first video. So if I look at the output, then here I can see the result of my 64 different schedules. And so far in the first video, we have simply looked at this simulation summary file to get a short comparison of what's the best schedule, and here it recommended that the best schedule is schedule version 31, which leads to the best accuracy of our simulated geodetic parameters. But what if I would like to make a little bit of a finer judgment on what's the best schedule for me? So you have a couple of options here. For example, or most importantly, we have this statistics.csv file. And this is basically a very simple comma-separated file that you can open with any editor. And this file really includes a lot of different statistics for all the stations, sources, baseline, and so on that you can use to filter or that you can use and process yourself to select the best schedule for yourself. For example, there is information about different general statistics, how the station spent their time, the sky coverages, and so on. So really, this is a file packed full with statistics. In VSched++, there is a handy viewer of these files, and this is called the statistics tool. If you click on the statistics tool, you can add any of the simulated or any of your schedules. So you can simply load the CSV file that we have just looked at. I will close the log file now for a second. And now you can have a look at the statistics output. So what you can see here is at the bottom, there are these different bars for every version of my schedule. So I've loaded the statistics file from this folder, and there is the version 1, and it goes until version 64. These are the 64 different versions of my scheduling that I've generated. And now you see a blue and a green bar. The blue bar is the number of scans, while the green bar is the number of observations. So I can simply say, okay, our first version, our first schedule has a total of 800. So on the top right, you see always some information about the item that I'm hovering right now with my mouse. So my first version has a total of 815 scans and a total of 8,271 observations. But you can of course add more statistics here by simply checking them. So here, this would be statistic about the number of sources that are observed. And if you take some time to browse through all of the options, then you would see that there are a lot of different statistics. For example, you can also display the simulated repeatabilities for your Earth orientation parameters, for example. And now they are also shown here. But you will immediately notice that there is a little problem because the magnitude of these bars are quite different. The number of observations is in the thousands range, while our estimated Earth orientation parameters, they have way smaller values. In order to properly view all the bars, you can change the absolute view to a relative view, and now everything is scaled between 0 and 1. To make the changes even more visible, you can also remove the minimum from each series so that you see the maximum spread or the maximum difference here. And now you can simply say and compare. For example, you would see that the schedule number version 21 has quite low values for the Earth orientation parameters, while some other schedules have way higher values, like version 1 here. What you can also do is, so far it was always sorted that this is version 1, version 2, version 3 and so on, but you can also sort the parameters based on your own weighting. For example, if I would like to see which schedule has the least or the lowest number for my DUT1 simulated mean repeatability values, then I can simply select a negative weight here, so that it is sorted from the lowest value to the highest value. If I now look at the orange bar, because the orange bar is DUT1, you can see that the orange bar increases the farther right I go in the schedule or in this comparison plot. And for example, version 22, schedule version 22, has the lowest DUT1 mean for repeatability value. Of course, you can also have a look at the average of all the Earth orientation parameter by simply setting all of them to a negative value, so that the schedule which has the best average repeatability values for the Earth orientation parameter is now the leftmost one. In our case, this would be version 19. And that's basically how you can mix things up and really have a look at all the statistics, combine them to properly select the schedule that you are most interested in. Another example would be, for example, that you are particularly interested in one station. For example, station Matera is very important for you, so you can add this station to your view and give it a high weight, so that you see, okay, schedule with a high number of observation for Matera is the schedule that I want to pick, and this would be then the version 28, because it has a very high number of observations for Matera, while also having some good mean or repeatability values for the Earth orientation parameters. So in summary, this tool probably needs a little bit of work to understand what's going on, but the best idea or the best thing you can do is to simply try it out, try to load some statistics file, play around a little bit with these settings you have here and with all the options you can show here to properly see which schedule is the best one for you. Or you can simply take this CSV file, load it in some external software like Excel, or load it with Python, and then process it the way you would like it to get the schedule that you are most interested in or that you think is the best one. This was already everything for this short tutorial about the statistics tool in VieSched++, and we see each other in the next video.